Check, check. Welcome in. I'm Adam Osland. What day is it? 121 days straight of Clippers talk for you. This show brought to you by the Kings trading De'Aaron Fox and setting the San Antonio Spurs up to be the next OKC because they didn't have to give up much to get De'Aaron Fox. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome in. More trades are happening. We will have you covered with the Clippers angle, how this affects them. And I think this next one, or this newest one, does. Shams Charania reporting that the Sacramento Kings, and I talked about this just a couple of days ago on with Rogan and Rodney. I thought it would happen before the trade deadline, and it has happened. The Spurs got De'Aaron Fox, Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings get Zach LaVine, 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, one of theirs back, and the Bulls get Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and their own 2025 pick back from San Antonio. Sacramento did very poorly in this trade, just like I think the Dallas Mavericks did. Sacramento did very poorly. Now, at first, I thought, oh, they got Charlotte's 2025 first-round pick. Well, that could be a lottery pick. That could be Cooper Flag. Well, guess what? It's top 14 protected, and it bumps down to 2 seconds if it lands in the top 14, which it will. So what Sacramento really got was San Antonio's 2027 first-round pick, Minnesota's 2031 first-round pick. That could be something. And 5 second-round picks, because the first-round pick from Charlotte is going to turn into 2 seconds. And Zach LaVine. I think on the court, they're not that much worse this season with Zach LaVine in for De'Aaron Fox. LaVine's having a really nice year. They can pair him back with DeMar DeRozan. They had limited success together in Chicago. But LaVine, super efficient season, averaging 24, almost 45% from 3, 51% from the field, 56% from 2. He's having a great season at the age of 29, I think. I don't think it's a super downgrade, a large, steep fall off from De'Aaron Fox to Zach LaVine. I don't this year. But where are they going in the future? Zach LaVine is owed around $46 million after this year, and then has an opt-in for $48 million the summer of 2027. So the Kings are just going to probably have Zach LaVine for some time here and be in mediocrity, be a play-in team at best. Others are saying, is there a chance we can get Jimmy Butler? I'm hearing he has interest from Golden State. Yes, he does. Apparently, he's not interested in them. And I'm not sure why. I don't hate the idea of Jimmy Butler. It depends what the Clippers would give up, but they'd have to give up Norman Powell most likely. You want to give up Norman Powell for Jimmy Butler? Apparently, Jimmy Butler doesn't want to go to Golden State and has let them know he won't sign a contract deal there. I think Brian Windhorst had this. Jimmy Butler has communicated to the Warriors that he's unwilling to sign an extension there, and therefore trade talks with Golden State have ended for now. I'd be like, if they're willing to give me the extension, anyone, I'd take it if I'm Jimmy Butler. Because he has an opt-in for $52 million next season, which apparently he wants to not opt into and therefore get, I don't know, $150 million at the age of 35, 36. That's wild to me. We needed to trade for Chuck Mockler, says Sinner. Renzo, the old head, said, what is a big trade the Clippers can do? I'm curious. Well, Jimmy would be one. I'm guessing, I don't even know at this point what his value is because he didn't want to go to Memphis, it sounded like, or Golden State. Who's left? Phoenix? They're going to end up with Bradley Beal for him? I just don't think I would give up Norman Powell for Jimmy Butler at this point. He's not a three-point shooter. He's going to hurt you with floor spacing with Kawhi already in the mid-range. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, it might make you better, but there's a good chance it makes you worse. Jimmy Butler on the season, guys, is getting 17 points per game. He's shooting 54% from the field, 36% from three on 1.5 attempts per game. He's a better defender than Powell. Norman Powell, though, is having an all-star year. He is shooting 44% from three again on higher volume than last year. Brandon Ingram would be a solid pickup, says Francis. I do have interest in Brandon Ingram because he's young enough where I still feel like he could get better. And some of it with him is just shot profile and the shots he's not taking. He's not taking enough threes for someone who can be good from the outside. And it's weird. That's like his problem. Although he has taken more this season. He has made somewhat of a jump. He's taken 6. They probably want him up to 8. He's a career 36% three-point shooter, but he's had years shooting 39%, 38%, 39%. He's shooting 37% this year from three. I don't hate the idea of Brandon Ingram. Here's the problem. You have to pay him after this year, and he wants $200 million. Maybe he'll get 150, 180. Do you want to give Brandon Ingram that much money? He also has had his own injury issues as of late, the last year and a half or so. Todd Tate says, oh, it's too good. God, those claws just destroyed my arm trying to climb on top of the chair. Yeah, I'm sure you can get a better version of Jimmy Butler. If he comes to your team in a winning environment and all that, and it's just any place but Miami. But you have to understand, sandbagging his own performance does not help Miami trade him. If Jimmy was playing better, there would be more offers. Apparently, he continues to nuke a lot of the potential landing spots by saying he won't re-sign there. But I don't know. I'd rather have Jimmy probably opt into the $52 million for next year and not re-sign unless it's on the cheap, because is he going to be 36 next season? Let's see. He turned 35 in September. Yeah, Jimmy Butler's going to be 36 next year. He's played a lot of games, gone deep into the playoffs. And he wants, what, $150 million? I don't know if I'd be – I know I wouldn't be willing to do that. Here's the power forward crew. It's a shame I can't offer any names that are realistic for the Clippers to get. Jonas Valanciunas and Ivica Zubac are not exactly the same player. Jonas is not a good rim protector. He's literally giving up Like 20%, he's given up a 20% higher field goal percentage within 6 feet of the rim than Ivica Zubac. I don't know what it is because he looks big, burly, and tough. Everybody thinks Jonas Valanciunas is some great defender. He's not. He's just big. He can be decent in one-on-one defensive possessions against centers, but that stuff doesn't happen as much anymore. Like, yeah, sure, you could throw him at Jokic for a little bit, but Valanciunas, look, if they can get him for the right price, I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know about the Zubats comparison here. Some would say I'd take a chance on Zion, buying low. Depends on how you think of buying low. You know, you got a $200 million contract, and let me see how many years he has left. I would guess at least 3. Yeah, 3 after this year. Next year he's making 39. Year after that, 42. Year after that, 44. It's a risk. It's a big one. But one of the guys we talked about before in the summer of 2027 who could potentially be available in Luka Doncic, he's likely not going to be. He'll likely re-sign with the Lakers in August. You can take an extension like 6 months after you get traded. So there's one guy out of the picture. SGA could be a free agent in 2027. He probably gets an extension before then. I'm open to the idea of Jimmy Butler, yes, could play really hard once he leaves Miami the rest of the season. That's possible. There's still a good chance he's not going to be as good as Norman Powell. A real good chance. Obi Toppin, sure, I'd like him. There were rumors of him being available. I still don't think he's starting. Like, who is he starting over? Kawhi, DJ? I wouldn't start him over either guy. Francis said BI would offer a lot of upside with scoring and size. He's also 27. I've already said that. So I'd offer him 150 to 200 million for 4 seasons. It's a lot of money to commit. Just know you're not going to be able to go many other places then. A lot of other guys, you never know who could become a disgruntled star that you have a chance to go get. Now, doing it through trade is going to be difficult for the Clippers. They don't have the assets. Unless guys do become free agents now. Well, it just happened with Paul George. I agree. Guys need to change the scenery sometimes. It's also a huge risk for a guy making as much as Zion. What do you mean it's non-guaranteed moving forward? The Pelicans can't cut him today and not pay the rest of that contract. LaMelo Ball, why not? Dallas traded Luka. See, that's the other problem with Dallas doing this. It has opened up way more trade talk, irrational trade offers from fans who think anybody's gettable now. Just because Dallas did something that ridiculous and it's helping the Lakers doesn't mean most teams are going to do that. It doesn't. It means pointing out Brandon Ingram being injury prone. Brandon Ingram is not, he's not a number 1 on a championship team. I'm already convinced of that. Can he be a number 2 on a championship team? I don't know. I lean towards no. He can score at all 3 levels. He is young enough to still get better. All right, I'll look it up. Zion Williamson could be cut today by the Pelicans. Is that people have talked about a weight clause thing? You're right. RB, you were right. The final 3 years of Zion Williamson's contract with the New Orleans Pelicans are not guaranteed. This means they can waive him after this season without any financial consequences. RB was right. I was wrong. Of course, that makes trading for him more tantalizing for teams. I would guess you'd have to give up more because you could get out of it. That's interesting. Sinner keeps saying step off. RB was right. Do I think the Clippers are going to make a big trade? No, I think the same thing I've thought since this summer. Their big trade was James Harden last year. Depending on what you'd have to give up for Zion, knowing it's not guaranteed, yeah, I guess I'd think about it. So after every year, you could just end up waiving him. The non-guaranteed seasons can become partially or fully guaranteed if Williamson meets certain criteria. The criteria involves, yes, passing weigh-in checkpoints where his weight and body fat percentage must add up to no more than 295 pounds. Ooh, weight plus body fat. That is interesting. And then playing in a certain number of games in the previous season. So it can become guaranteed. But if it does become guaranteed, it likely means he's doing good things. So you're not that worried about it. The NBA needs Zion to be good. He is must-see TV. I guess the fact that he missed 53 games in the 22-23 season triggered the clause. Yeah, that is a major overhaul and restructuring of your team, bringing in someone like Zion, though. That's a real shift. I see the Clippers going big in the buyout market. That's what I think they do. I think the Clippers have a chance to get somebody good in the buyout market. I retweeted the fact that in this trade, this three-teamer with Fox going to San Antonio, without them giving up Castle or Vassell or any of their best first-round picks, it's insane. Sacramento has to fire their front office GMs. Like, they have botched this completely. San Antonio is set up to be an absolute juggernaut, just like OKC has been. But Sacramento didn't get back Kawhi and Paul George in the deal. Like, the Clippers made sense. This is just, yeah. But Chicago is only trading one guy and bringing in multiple. They have to cut some guys. Chicago's going to buy some guys out. Lonzo Ball could be bought out. Francis has already moved on to Trae Young now. I would be interested. While I didn't love the idea of trading for Lonzo, he has been relatively healthy so far this season, and he has played well, depending on what you give up. But I think in this case, there's a chance he gets bought out to make room for guys because Chicago's bringing in 3 and only losing 1. If you can get Lonzo on the buyout market, I think you get him. I think Ben Simmons is also a guy that you have to look at. If he gets bought out and he's making $40 million and likely will be bought out because people trading for him, I mean, unless somebody had other expiring contracts, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. He'll likely be bought out. So there's 2 guys that realistically could be on the buyout market that the Clippers could really get. I want to tell you guys something. We talked about it, I think, a little bit yesterday, but the Clippers have a very significant advantage when it comes to the buyout market. Number one, they're under the first apron, so they can bring in guys that were making more in the mid-level exception. Number two, they could offer more than some teams who might just give up the veterans minimum, which is prorated. And this is coming from Lucas Hand of 213 Hoops. They can offer more because they still have $3.1 million left of their mid-level exception, which they used on DJ, but not all of it on Derrick Jones Jr. Do I think the Clippers would make more moves? I guess we could start in order here. Somebody's saying I would not want Ben Simmons. I think on the buyout, it's appealing. Will Updike brought up on Clips and Dip. Check out that episode that you could play him at the 5, backup 5 out with Ben Simmons at the 5. A lot of passing. It wouldn't be 5 out because he can't shoot, but he can dribble, he can distribute, he can play make. Frankie Boy 9 said, do you think the Clippers are going to make more moves? And will the Clippers have money this offseason for a big free agent? The only way they're going to have money is if they make some moves or if James Harden opts out on his 1+1 and they don't bring him back. He's making $35 million this year, James Harden, and $35 million next year. But that is a player option for next year. He could opt out, likely, and get a bigger, more long-term deal, whether with the Clippers or someone else. I don't think enough people have talked about, there's a big decision to be made for James Harden this summer. And if he left, you'd have a lot of money. I don't know who exactly you're bringing in, what free agents would be available. Most guys don't end up going to free agency anymore because you can make more money signing the contract extensions. That's the case with De'Aaron Fox. That's the case with Luka Doncic. That's how it works. Sinner said Ben Simmons is straight trash. This is not true. A guy not living up to his potential or the player he could have been doesn't mean he's straight trash. He has been playing well. He's been playing decently. He's a versatile player. What does Lonzo offer that KPJ doesn't? I don't know if you guys knew this, but Lonzo, much better shooter, much higher IQ playmaker. Like, have you watched him? Have you watched him in KPJ? Lonzo, well, he's only shooting 35% from 3 this season. Before the injuries, he shot 42% his last year. It was only 35 games that first year with Chicago, but he was playing great. He is a much better decision maker than KPJ by quite a wide margin. I can't believe I had to explain that. Mostly said Ben Simmons can defend Luka. Oh, RB explained it. Yeah, he's a good defender. KPJ's defense, though, has been good. Ozzy said, would a Harden trade surprise you? To a degree. California Kid said, I just think Lonzo has a more reliable 3-ball. There's no denying that. Amin said, my guess is Harden decides to stay with us. Don't know why. Well, one reason could be he likes being in Southern California. And I couldn't believe he took the deal, $70 million this past offseason. I thought he was going to get a 3-year deal. I didn't think he'd get a 1+1 for $70 million total. Yeah, the Kings could be even worse on defense. The Kings are a mess. What an absolute fumbling by Sacramento with De'Aaron Fox, who wanted to be in Sacramento. He didn't even want to be traded. He wasn't demanding a trade. He just wanted them to be competent in the front office. Make some better moves out there. They kept drafting guards. It's like, why do you keep drafting guards in this league and you have De'Aaron Fox? Get some wings. They got Keegan Murray, but he's kind of regressed. Man, it is. They do not know what they're doing. Drive by Buddy said, what we worried about, boys. Let's keep our head on the prize. The eye on the prize. Plus, Kawhi is Luka's kryptonite. Yes, healthy Kawhi is not lost to Luka in a playoff series. Amin said Lonzo is also a better defender than KPJ. Yeah, probably. KPJ though hasn't been bad on that end. Mostly said better distributor. Yes. What I'm talking about now, Lonzo is a better distributor now than KPJ. He makes better decisions now. He didn't lose his vision, his reads, his basketball IQ because of his knee. Has Ben Simmons fit in a tie system? And Will Updike brought up an interesting point. What about playing him at the small ball 5? I don't hate that idea because he's another hub then offensively, passing wise. Deathstroke said, give me Miles Bridges. Thomas said, team's going to let Ben shoot breaks. He doesn't have to shoot. He can be surrounded by 4 shooters in a small ball 5. He can play make, distribute, get layups. Chris G said, wonder if now going guard after power forward, do you mean guard, would be a good idea to help take the physicality load off of Zoo, or going after a power forward. Again, can you bring up names, please? That's what I'm looking for here. Jonathan Ing said, not sure Lonzo's defense is where it was now given the injuries. I think it's might still be, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, I think it might still be adequate enough, a plus defender type stuff, and as good as KPJ. California Kid said, thoughts on Clippers calling the Pels and seeing what they want for Zion. Please rewind. We already talked about it. Amin said, I hate the Kings light the beam chance. I think light the beam is actually cool. I think that's a cool little mantra and something to do after wins. Frankie Boy 9 said, I had to turn off my Twitter notifications and ESPN notifications. I'm tired of all this news about Luka. I understand. Amin said, and people clowned us for letting Paul George go. Now look at us and look at the Kings. Good point. Ty loves going small. Going small with another distributor out there at the 5 would be an interesting look. Drive-by buddies said, I know we need 3-point shooters, but low-key KPJ has been shooting better from inside the 3, which I think will help us out. 3-pointers are a 50-50, but man, if we can get our guys to shoot from inside, 3-pointers are a 50-50. You know they're worth an extra point than shooting on the inside. Let me explain something. Shooting 33% from 3 is the equivalent of 50% from 2. And 33% is below the league average. That's the math. That's why teams do it. Jonathan Ing said the Kings owner has no idea what he's doing. Very meddling and doesn't put the right people in the right spot to succeed and gets impatient at the process of team building. That's been the knock on him, Vivek, but I thought they were starting to get away from that with this last front office group after Vlade left. Jonathan Ing said, or no, I mean to Jonathan Ing says Lonzo's defense still is good, but like it used to be the cause of the injuries. Cizo said, is it possible that players on the Mavs request trades since they traded Luka? A lot of those players joined the Mavs because of Luka. I don't think so. They got AD. AD and Kyrie are friends. Jason Kidd coached AD. He was the assistant coach of the Lakers when they won it in the bubble. They have continuity and familiarity there. And it's possible, sure, because the GM, Nico Harrison, didn't seem to run this by anyone. Deathstroke said, West is wide open, I heard. I wouldn't say wide open, but OKC to me is a cut above. I think if Denver makes a move this week, guys, Denver's right back in the mix. I think they're going to make some move. Dallas is good, if healthy. They're really good. I look at it more long-term perspective. You have a guy that could be your franchise guy for the next 5 to 8 years in Luka, and he's already one of the best. He's a top 3 player in the league. Why would you give him up, and why would you not get more if you do? Thomas thinks he's going to clash with LeBron. I mean, did Wade, did Kyrie? No, they won championships. They're both on-ball dominant guys, all of them. Amin said, I don't know what he's referring to. I hate their light the beam chance on our home floor after they win on our home floor. Was that happened at Intuit Dome? Francis said, what's more crucial for us at the moment, picking up a defender or picking up a scorer? I mean, the Clippers have been good about getting two-way guys, but probably a scorer who can distribute, even if he's an average defender. Their defense is number 2 in the league. Their offense is not there, but their offense with Kawhi is very good on the floor. You don't want somebody that's heavily flawed on one end of the court or the other, and Lawrence Frank has talked about this a lot. That's not their philosophy. D Jackie said, get Lonzo Ball. Amin said, how do you fumble with DeRozan? Sorry, I read that wrong. How do you fumble with De'Aaron Fox so badly? They didn't even get much in return, but the Bulls probably are the worst team right now. Well, yeah, the Bulls are worse than the Kings. What? They were worse before the trade. They were worse after the trade. They're not trying to be good. The Kings are trying to be good. They're not trying to have a rebuild. They're trying to have a retooling. And their tools aren't as sharp. The ones they brought in is the one that left. For them not to get Devin Vassell or Castle from the Spurs is shocking. Or Keon Johnson. That is shocking. Or Sohan. That is shocking. And they didn't even get the Spurs' best first-round picks that they have available. I know JJ played with Luka. Yeah, Dallas is leaning into the defense. Their front line, when Lively's healthy, they're going to be really tough. Do I think they should get Ben Simmons if he's bought out, says Jackie? If they got a plan for him, yeah. Ben Simmons, I've been game logging Ben Simmons recently. Not scoreboard watching. I've been box score watching or game logging watching. Ben Simmons has been playing good. Solid. Like we're not talking heavy minutes here, guys. We're talking like 15 to 20 minutes. Sinner said they were lighting a beam. Jonathan said, if anything, the role players on the Mavs may come back down to earth without Luka. This is true. Offensively, guys were playing great because of the Luka bump. Yeah, Luka elevates everyone around him. He makes guys get far more open shots. Deathstroke says, if the Nuggets trade Michael Porter Jr., it's over for them. Well, you'd have to tell me what they get in return. Frankie Boy 9 said, I still believe Shea will have a better future than Luka. Shea is healthier. Well, that's totally could be true. He's in a better situation. OKC is built to win now and for the next 5-7 years. So he could definitely have more success. Stratos said LeBron has his 2 sons on his team now. Shadows is always cracking jokes. Give me D'Lo, says Deathstroke. Jay said Terrence should get more minutes without Mo. Just need to start locking in and start working into our peak form. That being said, morale looked low out there today. I mean, I just don't think Terrence is the answer for a backup big. Not having Mo Bamba, the answer isn't, okay, we're good. We got Terrence Mann now. He should be playing more because Mo Bamba is gone. Mo Bamba wasn't playing much anyways, guys. He wasn't playing. I'm trying to talk a little bit lower, Jackie, and I am tired. I think this is the most I've done broadcasting-wise, podcasting-wise, talking over like a 48-hour period ever. We did 2 2-hour shows yesterday, had a Clippers game earlier, clips and dip, now this. My throat's a little bit wrecked, so I'm trying to save it. I don't hate the idea of D'Angelo Russell on the buyout. I brought that up with Robert Flom yesterday, I think it was. Deathstroke has no idea how trades work. Bones Highland makes like a quarter, not even a quarter, of what D'Angelo Russell makes. That's a no-go on a trade. Why does Hoopsicle just keep saying LeBron James? Should I give him a timeout? Thomas said, I can't wait till Kawhi cooks Luka and Dorian Finney-Smith. I think Norm plays on Tuesday. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. I hope so. I hope it's not anything too serious. I don't think it is. No reason to think it is, at least. David Hong said most unusual 24 hours in the NBA. Probably most shocking, surprising 24 hours. It's pretty. Plus, it brought Zach Lowe back, who I'd love. God, if I could get him on the show. I told him one time at a game, I effing love your commentary. And like a month later, ESPN let him go. Jaden Armstrong says, I don't think D'Lo on this Clippers squad is bad since D'Lo with the Lakers was their main playmaker, but his defense was ass, but the Clippers have high defensive rating. Yeah, they can mask guys' weaknesses on the defensive end. I'd rather find somebody that's not that bad on the defensive end, but I got a feeling a motivated D'Lo would be interesting in LA with the Clippers. Of course, Batum can play small ball five, but you don't want to go the next 40 games of the regular season. Or where are we at? How many games are left now, guys? Clippers are 28 and 21. I'm too tired for this. Clips gang is a broken record, and I'm going to give him a timeout. And if he keeps just talking poorly about Coach Lue, who is widely renowned as one of the best coaches in the NBA, and every year gets voted best in-game adjuster by his peers, this may be a block. In fact, I think I had him blocked for a while. I unblocked a bunch of people recently. Amin said the Spurs, not a bunch, but me 10. Amin said the Spurs have a good future while the Kings are kind of effed. The Spurs are completely set up, guys, because they didn't give up their good first-round picks, because they didn't give up Castle or Johnson or Vassell. The Spurs could go out and make another big move this week. They could easily go get Brandon Ingram if they like him. The Spurs have another big move in them if they want it. Now, they might play it out, see how things shake out with this young group, and not go all in yet. But at some point, San Antonio's likely going all in. This was not their all-in play. They still got an ace in the hole. San Antonio has the assets to go make another big move. That's why I'm so frustrated with Sacramento. It's like, if you're going to trade with them, that's why I'm so frustrated with Dallas. You better take some assets away. You better bleed them dry. Instead, San Antonio has a chance to be the next OKC with a huge window to win it. Drive-by Buddy thinks Clippers Lakers going to be better now because they got Luka. Black Logic said, why do you Clippers fans have so much confidence in Kawhi to stay healthy? Well, I wouldn't lump me in there. I have hope. I am hopeful. But after every game, I'm thinking about, I hope he wakes up the next morning and that knee's not swelling up, because that's what happened last time. It's a day-to-day thing. I like Kyle Anderson. I like Kyle Anderson a lot. I don't know if he's so much of a need, but he's still with Golden State, right? Thomas said, why would Brooklyn go and get rid of D'Lo if they just got him? Because they don't want to win games, Thomas, because he's good and helps them win games. They're trying to get Cooper Flag. They're in a complete rebuild. That would be why. Jaden Armstrong said, you put D'Lo beside Claw, Derrick Jones Jr., or Dunn, you should be able to hide his weaknesses on defense. To a point. Some are saying keep Kyle Anderson away from my team. I don't think Clips gang watches the games. The guy who's criticizing, all he does is spam and criticize Coach Lou over and over again. It's like, yeah, name me 3 better coaches than Coach Lou. You can't. Jonathan Ing said, I didn't see the game today, so I'm assuming the Clippers were fatigued with all the travel and time zone hopping. It looked like that. They also settled, maybe because of the fatigue, but for way too many jump shots in the third quarter when the Raptors made their move. I didn't like the offensive game plan. The process was bad. Amin said, even without De'Aaron Fox, I'd still be confident in the Spurs as they have Wemby. Yeah. I mean, they have – Wemby's probably a top – he might be a top 10 player now when you account for his defense. Like, Wemby actually is going to get a good squad around him. You know how scary that is? They're in the play-in right now. The Spurs. They're a couple games under 500. That might change quickly. Now, De'Aaron Fox does have some hand injuries that nobody has talked about. But people up in Sacramento have known this. And that's something to remember here. It sounds like one of them, at least, he has to get surgery on this offseason, De'Aaron Fox. Well, guys are getting traded away way below their value. Part of the reason might be because Dallas set the bleeping market, giving up Luka for 1 first-round pick. I know they got AD. I know they got Max Christie. To not get at least 2 first-round picks is insane. I would say 3. If they had opened things up and let other teams know he was available. Shadow said the Raptors' defense and youth stifled the Clippers and Kawhi was off, plus no Norman Powell. Kawhi was off. James Harden was off. If one of those guys is on, they could have won that game. And, yeah, their ball pressure the first game against the Clippers. Clippers won the first game and into a dome 105-103. Raptors are a bad matchup for them, and they've been playing better. They've won 8 of 10 now. TKS says we need more scoring. We need some scoring, though. Like, beggars can't be choosers, but if you can get a scorer that also isn't a terrible defender and doesn't have a huge keeping flaw, that would be nice. Jonathan Ing said Nico Harrison's press conference today was just embarrassing with his rationalizing of the Luka trade. I agree from what I saw. I have no faith or confidence, and I completely empathize with the Dallas Mavericks fans protesting, bringing coffins outside the arena, saying we're dead, like just being irate and apoplectic. I get it. David Hong says we're hopeful for our team. Jaden Armstrong said Chet versus Wemby is going to be a big rivalry for the Spurs and Thunder in the future. Yeah, you get those 2 teams in a 7-game series. Like, they might play each other, who knows, 4 or 5 times over the next 10 years in the playoffs. Is Puka playing on Tuesday? No, he's still out, to my knowledge. TKS said we need a better backup point guard. I agree. Who are they getting? Thomas said Kawhi is going to surpass his 2019 Toronto run. Amin said I'm still laughing at Nico Harrison's reasoning for trading away Luka. Jay said if we can make a trade without touching our starting 5 or moving man or coffee would be best case scenario. Yeah, well, you're not getting much if you're not moving anybody of value. As long as we don't have to give anyone up of value, but the other team does, I'm good with it. Well, yeah, everybody feels like that, but it's completely unrealistic unless you're trading with Dallas. TKS said, I have a feeling we get Brogdon or Lonzo in the buyout. It's very possible. Francis said, I'm going to pretend this is Stevie Francis. He said, could we be part of a 3-way trade with the Lakers and Golden State Warriors, LeBron to Golden State, Green to the Clips, etc.? You want Draymond? I mean, that does fill a need. He's frustrating to me at times, but he's a hell of a player. Lee Vibin said, can we get another addition by subtraction with KPJ, please? Black Logic said, Cooper Flag seems good, but nothing better than Franz Wagner. Yeah, they're not the same guy. Cooper is quite a bit shiftier. Absent regards said, I'd rather have Brogdon than Lonzo. Brogdon's played less games this season than Lonzo. We got to the bottom of that on Clips and Dip. Ray said, Clippers podcasters popping off today. I've been listening to episodes nonstop since 6 p.m. Amin said, shit, the Spurs are in the plan. Are they now? I thought they were still out of it. Now I got to look this up. No, they're still out of it. They're 2 games out of the plan. Everybody's going to be trying to stop them from getting in because what if OKC drew them in the first round? That'd be something. How long is AD in Dallas for? Anthony Davis, I think, has 2 years left on his contract, with the second year maybe being a player option. Let me see. This is a good question. Something I was thinking about earlier and then forgot. I'm a dumbass. Yes, 2 more years and a player option. So, is that right? So yeah, next year he's making 54. The year after that, 58, and then a player option for 62 in the summer of 2027. He'll be 34. Wow. Somebody making it racial with Cooper flag. Deathstroke said D'Lo off the bench instead of Westbrook is way better. You feel me? I do. Chris G said Kyle Anderson would be a slight upgrade over Derrick Jones Jr. No, he wouldn't. He's not the defender Derrick Jones Jr. is. I like Kyle Anderson, but he would not be an upgrade over DJJ. He hasn't been playing much this season for the Warriors, so they might give him up. Garrett said Zubac's playing 40 minutes is absurd. We better hope Eubanks is playable. Otherwise, the backup big situation will ruin the season. It could be a problem. I'm always monitoring it because it's been one since Hartenstein left. JJ the Boys said, nah, the Mavs GM needs to get investigated. It just doesn't make any sense. Kinda. Amin said, I hate OKC reporters so much as they keep flexing on us after one of our players gets hurt that they still have our picks. This guy just won't stop. If we were the Lakers, Ty would have been fired, running out of excuses. What is exactly has he done wrong? Because Kawhi's knee hasn't held up, they never won it? Has he not maximized their talent? They had a winning record the entire year without Kawhi and Paul George playing 31 games. Just stop. Another timeout. Clips gang, 3 strikes, you're out. This particular guy naming himself Clips Gang TV, Los Angeles Clippers. Like, I've criticized Coach Lue at times for some of the lineups, some of the rotations, Marcus Morris stuff. I have. I'm not just blindly loving the way you're blindly hating on him. Absent said, shit is not on Wemby's level. It's not a rivalry. It can be a rivalry. Art H said, do you think Lawrence is done making moves, or do you see the Clippers making another trade since the league is trying to upgrade? Here's 3 things I think the Clippers could realistically do. 1, trade Bones Highland and maybe pick up a second-round pick or a player they're taking a flyer on. 2, trade Terrence Mann. He's an asset. Teams have called about him. Had Law Murray on the pregame show earlier. We played it in the postgame show. If you guys want to hear what he said about Terrence Mann and his availability. And then 3, the Clippers, I believe, this is the most likely one, get somebody in the buyout. Maybe Bones is more likely. No, they're both pretty likely. Those are the 3 things. A buyout move, a move man, a Bones Highland move. Those are the most realistic scenarios I see for the Clippers and what they could be doing over the next 4 days. Liberty said, I wonder if Mavs reach out to the Clips. We already know they didn't. The world knows, my guy. They've already spoken about this. They only reached out to the Lakers. Renee Z said, I'm intrigued with Ben Simmons as a buyout candidate. Me too. People blindly hating on Coach Lou. Strato said, so what? The Lakers also continuously scapegoat coaches because you can never blame LeBron or the makeup of the team. I don't know. People only blame LeBron when things go wrong, but he doesn't get credit when things go right. And just if you don't like LeBron, that's the way it goes. Renee Z said today's loss was horrible, but it wasn't on the coach. No, it wasn't, and I don't think it was horrible either. The Raptors have won 8 of 10. They just won 5 in a row. And they're a bad matchup with the Clippers because their ball pressure, their press defense, the Clippers, that's a real flaw in this team. And I've been talking about it for a while. Some people are saying when they gave up 12 turnovers against the Warriors in that game at Intuit Dome where they were up big and still held on, I said, whoa, this is scary. This is alarming to me. Giving up 12 turnovers in a quarter once the Golden State Warriors put on a full court press. I said at the time, other teams are going to look at this and do it. Other teams have. It's led to turnovers. I agree with this. Renee said the Stars were off today, plain and simple. They had a rough day. If Kawhi and James Harden have days like that without Norman Powell, you're probably going to lose. What's the ideal trade? Realistic trade? Let me think as I go through this. Bonesaw saying what I was thinking. Clips Gang is a casual, not the collective Clips Gang here. Clip Gang or Don't Bang, the guy who called himself that. All right, I'll block him. He is a troll. It's just annoying. If you just keep saying the same thing over and over again, don't counter any of the points I made. Don't bring any yourself. Yeah, it's not providing anything of substance to the conversation here on Clippers Talk. Chris G says, still don't understand the trade yesterday. Something is fishy with the Mavs, Lakers, and Luka. Maybe Luka's health is worse off than people realize. I think the most likely scenario is just the Mavericks were really infatuated with Anthony Davis, and they're really sick of Luka Doncic. And they said enough, and they pulled the trigger. And it was hasty, and it was a rash decision, and it wasn't wise, and they could have gotten much more for him. But because of those two things, being in love with Anthony Davis as a player and being fed up with Luka Doncic, that created the perfect storm for that to happen. Thomas said, I honestly think Eubanks will bring that toughness that will raise Clippers to another level. He's one of those guys. Do not fear anyone. You retaliate and push Zach Edey. That's true. He's about that life. He's got that dog in him. Garrett Griffin said, good test for the team coming this week. Lakers, Grizz, Pacers. Excited to see how we perform. I'm with you. Amin said it's going to hurt trading Bones, as we had, I think, a training camp around him and Russ last season. Bones was the backup point guard heading into last season. He won the job. Well, you need to trade for Harden. The issue was the guy in the middle to me, Russell Westbrook. If Bones could have been the backup to Harden, they would have been much better off last season, in my opinion, much better. Renee Z said, what about Patty Mills? Could we trade him besides just waiving him? Nobody's giving you anything for Patty Mills. I mean, the only reason you could trade him is like to make some salary match with some other trade where you're giving up an actual asset that somebody wants. It's no disrespect. He's 36. He's had a great career. Art 8 said, I like your number 2 option on trading man. I don't see a buyout market guy moving the needle much, but who knows? I think Lonzo or Ben Simmons would be pretty interesting on the buyout. Dunn, Jones, and Eubanks. Toughness equals a championship. Stevie Francis said, man, Bones, Brown, and Miller can be moved. Not Amir, though. Haha. Thomas is stuck on the Eubanks is a dog stuff. Amin said, I also thought that the Raptors' youth bothered us. They did. They were really active. Like, they played really hard. They were impressive to some degree. They were. Now, if Kawhi or James Harden has their usual game, the Clippers probably win, but give the Raptors some credit. They've been playing better. Deathstroke said it was an early game. He must not know about us in early games. I'm well aware of early games, man. I hate that narrative because here's how stupid the early game thing is to me. The idea of guys not being ready because it's not their usual tip-off time doesn't wash with me, doesn't make sense to me, because you're saying the Clippers have so many of these matinee games, at least they used to, at Staples Center, at Crypto. Well, if they have so many of them, then they probably should have been used to playing earlier by now. So the whole early game thing, nah. Now you can say they've been traveling, they went to, I think, 3 or 4 different time zones on this road trip, and that has a cumulative effect, and they looked gassed out there. Road games are hard. But I'm never giving into the excuse of all those matinee games and hurting the Clippers. If they had a bunch of them, then they should be used to them. So the idea of it throws them off because they're not used to playing early games doesn't make any sense. If they have so many of them, they should be used to them. Renee Z said transition offense the Raptors showed us was scary. Yeah, man, they were really good getting out and running. Coach Lou credited them post game. Chris G said, how do you guys feel about Patrick Williams? I like him. Even Zoo was slightly off. I'm not going to say that. He only got 11 shots up. There was another way to win this game, and it was getting Zubats more involved, I think. Amin said if Kawhi and James Harden have a bad game without Norm, it's very hard to tell everyone else to pick up the slack. Renee Z said the Clips were missing a lot of shots they normally make, especially Kawhi. Art 8 said, do you think Malcolm Brogdon would be a good fit if he's bought out by the Wizards? Yes. The Clippers, once upon a time, had him. All right, I'm officially blocking this guy. He's not contributing anything. He just says the same thing over and over again. Everybody wave goodbye. Clips Gang TV _ hashtag Los Angeles Clippers. Now I remember why I blocked him in the first place. Just keeps saying the same thing like a broken record. Goodbye. Art 8 said, do you think Malcolm Brogdon? Yes. They traded for him last summer. I like Malcolm Brogdon a lot. His only issue, just like Robert Williams, different positions, different players, but their only issue is health. Robert Williams is a very good center. Malcolm Brogdon is a quality backcourt guy. Daniel said, I'm still flabbergasted by the Luka trade. He's going to hate the Clippers even more now. David Hong said, I don't see many young players getting a chance with Coach Lou or Doc, especially with the win now requirement with Kawhi or 2-1-3 experiment. Well, I mean, that's kind of a pretty good excuse to not play young guys, right? If you're trying to win now, which the Clippers have been in that mode for some time. Renee Z said, I saw the Eubanks highlight tape. Law Murray posted earlier. He seems nice, I guess. RB said, do you think Tyler will continue to play KPJ even if we get Lonzo or Simmons? Man, I don't know. I would think if you're getting those guys, then you play them over KPJ, but we're 50 games into the season almost, so Harden going to unlock Eubanks' potential. Harden will be good for Eubanks. Drive-by Buddy said, give props to the Raptors, y'all. They played hard. Barnes went in. Scotty Barnes is all-star. That's one of my favorite rants ever. I kind of love their coach, Darko. Garrett Griffin said, top 8, Harden, Norm, Kawhi, DJ, Zoo, Dunn, Lonzo, Nico. So Amir Coffey, who is the first guy off the bench right now, is out of the top 8. I did bring up the possibility. Would they entertain trading Amir Coffey if they don't think they can hold on to him this summer. Renee said I was going to tweet a funny tweet about Grady's dunk, but I kept it to myself. Probably for the best. David Hong said 3-1 on any road trip is good. What if I told you they went 2-2? Am I missing something? They lost in Phoenix. They lost in Toronto. They won in Charlotte. They won in San Antonio. Last time I checked, that's 2-2. Renee Z said different time zones are legit. Yeah, it's hard. Thomas said Clippers' identity is be a dog, which means more tough-minded players. Thomas is just ranting about the toughness. Amin said, yo, Adam, let's kick the Lakers the F out of our Intuit Dome. They did last time. You know what I said after that win by the Clippers over the Lakers? I said the only downside of this is I think the Lakers are going to go out and make a move because the Clippers beat them so bad. I did not think Luka Doncic would be that move. But it's possible they're about the same level of team. Now, I think they're going to end up being better after the Luka Doncic move if they can get healthy because they're still going to make a move for a center, guys. The Lakers have the assets, thanks to Dallas not taking them all when they could have, to go out. Dallas is the real problem here. They have the assets to go out and get Miles Turner or Robert Williams or Jakob Poeltl or Nick Claxton. RB said, I thought the bench was actually pretty good today. Kawhi just really struggled and Harden shots were not falling. Kawhi also wasn't looking to get Zubac involved today. I mean, I can remember at least one pass to Ivica Zubac from him. Here's what's crazy, guys. Zubac was a plus 10 in a game they lost by 7, and he played 40 minutes. So in the 8 minutes that he was off the court, the Clippers lost those minutes by 17 points. They got outscored by 17 in the 8 minutes that Ivica Zubac was off the court. Amin said, I feel like without Dunn, I'm noticing some slippage defensively as teams are starting to shoot lights out from 3, just like the Raptors did. There may be something to that. They definitely miss Dunn. They definitely have missed his impact. Yeah, I know Robert Williamson's injury history, believe me. This is adding up the numbers, his absence, saying he's been absent for 155 games over the last 3 seasons, and that number will go up since this season isn't over. Skill set only matters when it's coupled with availability. I know, but it depends on what you would have to trade for him. Jay said, is buyout market deadline same as trade deadline? I don't believe so. That's a good question. There are guys on the buyout market after the trade deadline, guys you could still pick up. The question is, were they bought out before the trade deadline ended? Renee Z said, I didn't like when LeBron called our home game a Laker home game. That irked me badly. I know that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and the Clippers won big. Deathstroke said, why did I see that Lakers just made a trade with the Nets 20 minutes ago? Don't tell me that. You guys would have already told me that. Don't tell me that. I'm telling you, Nick Claxton, it's going to happen. They're getting somebody. The Lakers are getting a center. Just understand that right now. They're not done. They're getting a center to replace AD, and they can get a pretty good one. Claxton, Williams, Miles Turner. I think one of those guys is going to end up with the Lakers, and likely Miles Turner or Nick Claxton. Like I said, the Lakers only have like one more first-round pick. I think Indiana will want like 2 or 3 first-round picks for Turner. No, they won't, because Turner is looking to get paid this summer. They're likely not going to pay him. They're looking to get something for Miles Turner. I'm pretty sure 1 first-round pick is getting you Miles Turner. Art H said, at least as currently constructed, the Lakers are still not better than the Clippers. Amin said, also, you could tell something was off with Kawhi since when does he shoot 1 of 4 from the free throw line? Yeah, that's a good point. Like, Kawhi was just off. Missing free throws like that. He missed 2 free throws in a row at the charity stripe in the fourth quarter. That was crazy. All right, so what is the big move, Freck Hefner? You know what backup center is goated? The Chicago Bulls, Jalen Smith, something like that. Who are you talking about? Oh, my guy with the goggles. Nickname Sticks. All right, I'll stay on a little bit longer here. It's been an hour. The Lakers still have a first-round pick. I believe they still have a second-round pick they can trade. They do that with Rui and a combination of Gabe or Vando. They're going to get a center and a good one. I'm just warning you guys now. For everybody that thinks the Lakers blew their wad or whatever getting Luka, it's not over. It is not over. And that's not a great place to be. Freck said, I'm going to be honest, this apron really came back to haunt a lot of teams. That's why I think a lot of these guys are being moved most likely. You're not wrong. Yeah, I retweeted the Keith Smith tweet earlier about the Bulls having to cut a couple of guys because they brought too many guys in. They have to waive 2 players to complete the trade they made, the 3-way trade with the Kings and the Spurs. They're bringing in 3 players, sending out 1 in that trade. So they got to cut 2 guys. Lonzo could be available. Cizo said the league needs to make it hard for the Lakers to get a center because that Luka trade needs to be investigated. Some Adam Silver scheme. You hope the Lakers fumble. Me too. But if they get Claxton or Miles Turner, they get Claxton and Jonas Valanciunas, to be honest. They might get Christian Wood back at some point. Jackson Hayes has been playing better. Brett Hefner said, so here's the thing, Adam. What do you think we need to do with all the moves happening in the West? Do you believe our roster can legitimately compete? Here's the thing, Freck Hefner. You can rewind to the beginning of this show because we've been talking about that. I don't know if you saw the title, but said if anything, those Laker draft picks have lost value since they got Luka. So if I'm Indiana or Brooklyn, I'm trying to guide their depth and picks to give them a center. Go after their depth and picks. Well, they're going to get a player. I think they'd like Rui Hachimura, Indiana. Garrett said, yeah, they're going to need some major rim protection because Luka, Reeves, and LeBron on the perimeter is rough defensively. I think they're going to end up starting Dorian Finney-Smith at some point, maybe after they trade Rui, who's been starting. Thomas said, I'd be shocked if Jimmy Butler goes to the Clippers. You never know because Clippers like to do in secrecy. Nothing as secret as the Luka Doncic trade that happened. Amin said, I'm getting very worried about Chris Dunn. I'm not very worried yet. Blue said, Lakers got the Clippers killer Luka. Except they're 2-1 against him in the playoffs, and they would be 3-0 if Kawhi was available this last year. Maybe I should just hold this damn thing. Maybe I should just clip it on right. Check. Okay, Christian Wood is not a good person, says Renee. And Jay said optimistic, but have a feeling a 3-team trade incoming involved the Suns, Clippers, and Heat. I don't know, just have a feeling. The Clippers could be lying in wait for somebody else to need them in a 3-team trade. That's what happens sometimes. That's what basically you saw with the Chicago Bulls. They were able to benefit over the Kings and Spurs wanting to make that deal done. So I wouldn't be surprised by that, Jay. I think that's smart. Oh, man, some people are harsh online. Someone said log off Earth. Kawhi wants Jimmy Butler as his first choice. Look, maybe they end up getting Jimmy for a cheap deal because he's already poisoned the well with so many other teams, and they have to get rid of him. And Pat Riley just says, "F it, I'll bite the bullet. I just want him off the team." Yeah, Bradley Beal has a no trade clause, so he'd have to sign off on going to the Miami Heat. Freck Hefner said, "I'm going to be honest with you, Adam. I think it might be time. We can consider trading Terrence Mann and maybe a little bit more of the young guys and see what we can get." I mean, I'm considering everybody. I think that's the way to go about it. I would be shocked if Terrence Mann was moved. Amin said, "I feel like Lakers fans are so insecure as every time we beat them, they bring up rings." Garrett said, "I don't love this, but I think I'd take on that Nurkic contract for a first." What? Yusuf Nurkic for a first? You're saying the Suns give the Clippers a first to get off of it? I don't really think they have any. David Hong said, "I thought that microphone was your cat's foot." That's funny. Yeah, I don't have a rabbit's foot for good luck. I have my cat's. That'd be a dark twist. Absent said, "I thought Butler was supposed to be the embodiment of Heat culture." Yeah, well, about that. Familiarity can breed contempt. God, that first half score. I'm thinking about the Cavaliers up by 50 at the half. You know how hard that is to do, to be up 50 at the half? Were the Clippers up 50 at the half against Brooklyn this year? Renee said, "I love T-Man, but he has a lot of value and we need picks too." Hey, if you can get the right move for Terrence Mann, because I don't know how he fits. If this roster is healthy, where is he playing? They don't have Chris Dunn, and he's barely playing now. When Dunn's healthy, where does Terrence Mann fit in? I love T-Man, but he hasn't had a good year. There's guys that do what he does better. He does some stuff that's unique, but he's not always doing it. He's not always being that spark. They need that, but he hasn't been consistent. I know he's been banged up. Garrett said, "No, like they give us a first to take on the contract. They traded their 2031 first for 3 worse firsts from Utah." Amin said, "Let's not lose to the Lakers, please." Deathstroke said, "Jimmy Butler's a dog, man, but his age. I just don't want to see Norman Powell be given up for Jimmy Butler." And I don't see how you get him without giving up Norm. And then is he going to opt out? You're going to give Jimmy Butler money at 36 years of age by the time next season starts? Freck Hefner said, "Yeah, I could see that you're stressed out. I think we all are as Clippers fans. We're going to be real with you. This is why I always bring up Lawrence Frank, because he's responsible for all of this." Lawrence Frank has done a great job. Lawrence, you're right. Lawrence Frank is responsible. He is responsible for the Clippers being 28-21 and only having Kawhi for 11 games so far this season. You're right. I haven't given Lawrence Frank enough credit. Venkato said, "Would you maybe do a trade for T-Man?" For who? Terrence Mann and Chris Dunn, first-round pick for Jimmy and Rozier. Rozier has been bad, and he's being investigated by the feds. What are we talking about? Renee Z said, "Man, Bones, and possibly Kobe are some of our best assets." Oh, that ain't saying much, my guy. No disrespect. Everybody's saying Norm should not be traded. Good. He should be an all-star, as we should be. Freck Hefner said, "But here's the thing. How do we know if Terrence Mann has as much value as we believe?" Well, the Clippers know. They're the ones fielding offers, and apparently they have gotten calls on Terrence Mann. That's been reported by many. He's not been downhill every year. Last year, the last 50 games of last season, Terrence Mann shot 44% from 3, then played amazing defense against Luka Doncic in that first-round series, while also shooting 45% from the outside. Butler as a player makes sense, but if their goal is to clear books for 26-27 season, then trading for Jimmy and signing him to a big extension doesn't make sense. Exactly, Garrett. Thanks for being here. Amin said, I just think that Jimmy throwing a fit for not getting a contract from the Heat is stupid, as he literally is on the decline. Yeah. He's under contract right now. He could opt in to $52 million next year, but he wants to opt out and sign a contract for $150 or something. Freck Hefner said, I was just talking about this on Pull Up Clippers podcast today. As Clippers fans, we can't even say what type of player he is. He's 30 years old. We don't even know his ceiling. He needs to be moved. Talking about man's not 30. He's 28. I think we know who he is. Is it possible that Jimmy might be bought out by the Heat? He's just denied an extension with the Warriors. Plus, he'd probably want to stick it to Pat Riley. Could he be bought out? I mean, how could they not get something for Jimmy Butler? Deathstroke is tripping. We got pieces, and I think I can see us getting a big name. Maybe I'm tripping. I think you're probably tripping. Man for Jaden Ivey. Bones for Javonte Green. Renee Z said Norm is an all-star and most improved player and possibly all-NBA third team, hopefully. He should be in the mix right now. Next to guest said, man doesn't look really confident with the ball, and he keeps his head down with the ball. Yeah, he's not even looking at the rim sometimes. Jaden Ivey's out for the season. I didn't know that. Stevie Francis said, can't kill the team chemistry. Should only try and move the players with low impact. Unfortunately, T-Man falls into that category. Man for Cam Thomas. I don't think Brooklyn would do it. He's a restricted free agent. I'd keep him if I'm them. Garrett Griffin said the Suns don't deserve to get bailed out of that horrible Beal move. If the Heat succumb because of Butler's antics, it'll set a bad precedent. Well, Beal would still have to sign off on it. This is pretty random. All these trade stuff, and now it's what's your favorite food? I don't know. It's probably pizza. Probably simpleton selection. I mean, said, like, is Dunn's knee injury serious? They said no. I think I hope they're trying to just give him some extra rest right now because he has had injury issues in the past, and apparently he has been dealing with something this season. So my hope is they're trying to get him right for the playoff push. Not playing, playoff. Because it could end up being really close. Jordan Clarkson or Colin Sexton? Well, Sexton's better, but he's going to cost you more. I think the Bulls could buy out Lonzo. I think. I don't know. Bulls going to let him walk in free agency? Well, they have to cut a couple guys right now. They traded one. They brought in three. Do the math. They have to let two guys go. Freck said, so who would you be comfortable with us moving, and how do you feel about the move we made yesterday? I like the move. I don't see it as a significant upgrade, though. I don't. And Patty Mills might not even play as a Clipper. Drew Eubanks, I don't see how he can't be better than Mo Bamba. That's all I'm asking. But then again, I was asking Mo Bamba to be better than last year's version of Mason Plumlee, and I'm not sure that was the case. Plumlee's definitely having a better year than him this year. All I wanted was Mo Bamba to be better than who Mason Plumlee was last year after he came back from the injury, maybe too soon. Eubanks available for the Lakers game? Yeah. I think there's a strong likelihood he'll be available. I'm guessing they're getting physicals tomorrow at the latest. Clarkson is good at one thing, scoring, and a real liability defensively. but I'll take him for the right price. Garrett said, "You think Eubanks?" Yeah, I'm getting tired, guys. I've done so many shows. Who knows? Before the night is still young. Something could happen. I got to jump back in here. But I wanted to get the temperature of what everybody was thinking. What would be a big trade that the Clippers could make? Not sure if we got to anything that realistic. Yabusele, they can probably get a lot for him because he's had such a good year. Freck said that's exactly what Drew Eubanks is, another version of Mason Plumlee. I think he might be a better rim protector, more instinctual, tougher. Renee said Ben Simmons or Lonzo. I could see the Clippers acquiring via buyout. Yeah, we talked about them both. I could see it too. Plunk said, I wish we could get Herb Jones. Nextigus said, do you think KPG is going to be in trade talks? KPJ? Somebody was saying that KPJ can't be traded. I don't think that's true. Garrett said Lakers just posted Luka arriving in LA. Doesn't even look real. Yeah, I just saw it too. Man, Luka tweeted out, grateful for this amazing opportunity. Basketball means everything to me, and no matter where I play the game, I'll do so with the same joy, passion, and goal to win championships. And Kata said, do you think the Clippers will maybe feel pressure to trade the 2031 pick? No. They got a plan. I don't think the Clippers are surprised. Maybe the Luka move, but I don't think they're surprised by anything that's going on. They're pretty clued in. I don't think they're freaking out, and they're going to make some reactionary move because of what's occurred the last 24 hours. Is Wiggins gettable? I don't know about that contract. I've watched Plumlee on Phoenix, and he does not look good. He doesn't look great. I'm just saying he looks better than Mo Bamba did this year, I think. That's all I wanted. Drew Eubanks, just be better than Mo Bamba was. Freck Hefner said, now here's the thing about that Ben Simmons shit, Adam. Can you imagine Ben Simmons and Derrick Jones Jr. on the same floor together? The stadium might as well burn the F down. Wait, why do you say that? There's some history between those two? What are you saying? Garrett said, what about DeRozan? Not even a discussion about fit or anything, but I think they looked at him in the offseason and wonder if they'd look again. Maybe, but what's DeMar's contract now? And they just reunited him with Zach LaVine. So I'm not saying they did great work together with Chicago, but there might be, I don't know, some appeal for the Kings fan base, So he's making too much, guys, for too long. DeRozan's making 23 this year, 25 next year, 26 the year after that. I don't know. I think stylistically it's a strange fit, but they have looked at it before. I wouldn't hate it. Nextigus said, I think we need more scoring for the bench. Amin said, I'm going to be heartbroken if Eubanks isn't better than Bamba. Mr. Mueller. Adam, I'm working late. If the Clippers make a trade, you jumping back on? Of course I am. Did 2 hours after the Drew Eubanks trade. Unless it's any trade, I'm in. Any. All right. Subscribe. Hit the like button, please. And hit the notification button as well. And don't forget, Clippers Talk is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest way to play fantasy sports. Of course, it's available in over 30 states, and all you got to do is pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats or your least favorite if you're a hater, and you can win up to 100 times your money, make picks, win money. Tell you what, I got a free promo code for you guys that gives new users a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash. The promo code is LAC, and you can find it and the referral link in the description below in this very episode. Underdog Fantasy. Make picks, win money. We will talk to you guys soon, at least tomorrow. We'll see what happens tonight. It's quiet. It's a little too quiet.